I only have a few minutes to tell you this story, and I have no idea if it'll be enough. How much time does it usually take to bare your soul? If you had eternal life, how would you spend it? Would you be reckless? I spent my eternal life fearing death. Everything I did was to secure that one-way ticket to heaven, which in my head was just life deluxe. It would feel just like home, but it'd be perfect. So I followed my family's wishes and decided to devote myself to the church at the ripe age of 14, which escalated a little more than I expected. After joining a youth group, I found myself leading worship, acoustic guitar and all, delivering impassioned prayers, begging for forgiveness and collective salvation. I even cried while watching Passion of the Christ. I'm not so sure why I cried. I guess Jim Caviezel was a really convincing Jesus. If Jim Caviezel Jesus was willing to die for me, I should at least shed a tear. All things considered, I was doing pretty well for a fraud. No matter how many prayers I recited, how many songs I sang, or how many times I was convinced I saw God, I always fell short of one thing. The first time I knew I liked girls too, I was at summer camp. I saw a girl with short hair and these dark, round eyes. She was in the elevator, practically buried under a pile of luggage, balancing 2 boxes in each hand. She smiled at me just as the elevator doors closed and my heart skipped 100 beats. Luckily, we became friends and she ended up dating a boy I knew was mediocre enough to be unthreatening, and I was relieved. I could still have my eternal life. My coming out wasn't exactly planned. In fact, it was completely arbitrary to the conversation that my mom and I were having, which was actually about me wanting a tattoo. Other people can do it, but you can't, she'd always say. Something snapped in me. It was the realization that, one way or another, my sexuality would be the one thing that I would never be able to ask permission for. The one thing I couldn't get a second opinion on, the one thing I'd never be able to change about myself, no matter how much shame it brought me. Still, somehow, as the words kind of just spilled out, I phrased it as a question. What if I want to date girls? And so, I'm running out of time. This year, I'll be 22, and then I'll be 23, and then who knows what's next? 24? Giving up on the idea of eternal life has put me on a bit of an unpredictable schedule. One day I'll cease to exist, all the people I've ever known will cease to exist, and there won't be a trace of evidence that I was ever here, living and breathing. But there's something kind of eternal about the eggs that I make in the morning. The wrinkles that I'll have one day, the wooden desk I found that fits perfectly in my room, and the girl that I'm in love with now. I'll never have enough time to tell you everything. I'll never have enough time. For now, though, I'm not checking the clock.